This is the 1990-91 Hoops number 5, the Michael Jordan All-Star card. The Michael Jordan All-Star card, along with all of the All-Star cards in the 90-91 Hoop set, is a short print. See, they were among the cards pulled from printing to make room for Series 2, and they're slightly more rare than other cards in the set. These cards feature the 1990 All-Star Game in Miami. You can see the logo right down there in the right. And I'll tell you what a game that would have been. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, every member of the East is now in the Hall of Fame. Let's move to the reverse. It's a nice snapshot in time of that All-Star game. We can see here, along with Charles Barkley, Jordan led the East team in scoring with 17 points in 1990. Well, 17 points. This was nothing compared to his 40 points in 1988 that you see in the statistics above. There it is, 1988, 40 points. It just comes out of nowhere. 7 points in 1985. He was injured here. 11, 28, 17, and there's that 1988 40 points. But they do honor that game as well on the reverse of the card. You see here, named All-Star Game MVP in 1988 after scoring 40 points for victorious East squad. Hit 17 field goals in that game to tie an All-Star record. Now, it's also very important to note, and the main reason for this video, that there is an uncorrected error on this card. And it's that next sentence I didn't read. Won the slam dunk title in 1986 and 1988. No, he didn't. 86 was actually Spud Webb. He won the slam dunk title, Jordan, in 1987 and 1988. You know, it just seems like in this junk wax era that errors and variations are everywhere if you look closely enough. In one of the more recent videos, we had an incorrect birthday for Tim Hardaway. And I've mentioned before my video of the 1990-91 Fleer Michael Jordan, where some versions of the card have a line before the statistics, others don't. So don't overlook these junk wax cards. There's a lot of details that make them very interesting. Let's flip this card back over because I think this is a great photo. I think it's an important photo for card collectors. Now, there were a lot of wonderful images of dunks that when this card came out, collectors might have already had. You had your Jordan rookie card, or think of the 1989-90 or 90-91 Fleer. Yeah, these were great dunks, these pictures. But when you think of Michael Jordan, how iconic is Jordan's fadeaway jump shot? So, you know, it's nice here that we have that captured on a card. And I'm sure collectors really enjoyed being able to put the fadeaway jumper into their collections. Now, this is the first card we've talked about from 1990-91 Hoops. So I am going to discuss the set as a whole. If you want more context, you can keep listening. But this is going to be a more general discussion. Now, after their debut in 1989-90, Hoops returned in 1990-91, and they began increasing the size of the set. Series 1 is 336 cards. That's 36 cards larger than that first year. Series 2 was 104. That's 52 cards larger. So in total, the Hoop set grew by 88 cards for their second run here in 1990-91. In terms of the design, hoops kept the main elements the same. If you remember those 1989-90 hoops cards, you still had this shape to the image, which resembles the key of a basketball court. That was kept the same. They changed the color of the background. The base cards are gray. These all-star cards had a gold background to distinguish them. So that was different, but only slightly different. It was that white background in 1989-90. So just some very small, subtle changes. That's nice. Keep the progression relatively calm. The all-star cards, that was a subset that did stay the same between the two sets, 1989-90 and 90-91. Another thing that remained were cards of coaches. That was new in 1989-90. But here in 1990-91, everything was more organized. The teams and players were alphabetized finally by the city of the team and the player last name. And the all-star cards were kept in a group at the very beginning of this 1990-91 set. Even the coach cards from that first series were grouped together. This was much needed after the scattered organization from 1989-90. Now, the larger number of cards in 90-91 hoops is easy to explain by all of the new additions. In Series 1, they integrated checklists into the set. Now, recall the checklists from 1989-90 hoops, those were only available by special request. They weren't really part of the set. And then in the second series of this 90-91 hoops, they began experimenting with a variety of additional cards. It was the first time you could get current year rookies. They inserted the 11 lottery draft picks. And there's also a Danny Ferry rookie card in this set, which is another current year rookie apart from those 11. There were 6 playoff cards. There were 12 cards which were like coaches as players. It was a nice historical touch. There was an art card for each team and other small additions throughout the set. Now, in addition to the large variety of cards, it has to be mentioned there was a large quantity in overproduction as well. Cards during this time period, they're often called junk wax, and there were lots of 1990-91 hoops cards printed. Now, also of note, NBA Hoops was owned by Skybox, which comes as a surprise to many. The classic design of hoops, and then the futuristic graphics of Skybox during this year, they seemed worlds away to many unsuspecting collectors opening those packs. Now, the addition of all of these different Series 2 cards did mean that cards from Series 1 were pooled to make room during the printing process. Those are the short prints, and they are a bit harder to find than other cards, which loops us right back around to this one. We mentioned at the beginning of the video, all of these all-star cards are short prints, just slightly tougher than the base set. Well, I hope you enjoyed this discussion of the Michael Jordan All-Star card with the uncorrected error about his slam dunk titles, and the discussion of the set as a whole. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.